Sometimes the most powerful words are the ones that are never spoken, the messages that remain locked away, sealed in ink and paper, destined to never reach the eyes of the one they were meant for. And in the whirlwind life of global superstar Wang Yibo, one hidden letter has surfaced as the most shocking secret of all, something he wrote in silence, carried in his heart, but never dared to send. The discovery of this letter has left fans, media, and even close insiders asking the same haunting question. Who was it for? And why was it never delivered? It all began with a rumor, whispered quietly behind the scenes. A stylist close to one of Wang Yibo's projects claimed that during a late-night wardrobe fitting, a thin envelope fell from Yibo's journal. The stylist didn't dare open it, but swore she saw his name signed at the bottom of the page. The handwriting was rushed, emotional, and deeply personal, not the kind of words you'd expect a celebrity to ever reveal in public. And yet, it remained folded neatly, tucked away, as though it was meant to stay hidden forever. Imagine this scene. Yibo alone in his dressing room after a long day of filming. The studio lights are dim, the chaos of cameras and assistants has quieted, and only the hum of the air conditioning fills the silence. He picks up his pen, his hand trembling slightly, and begins writing. Not a script, not lyrics, but something raw, something real. His heart poured into sentences that no one else would ever hear him say. The kind of words that can shatter the strongest walls when spoken aloud. And yet, he never sent it. Those who have caught whispers of the letter describe it as a confession, an emotional outpouring that feels more like a diary entry than a letter. But what makes it so captivating is not just what was written, but the mystery of who it was written for. Some point immediately to his long-rumored connection with Xiao. After all, their bond has always been the subject of endless speculation. From their subtle glances on stage to the quiet moments behind the cameras, fans have pieced together a mosaic of emotions between them. Could it be that the letter was Yibo's way of saying the words he never dared to speak directly? Words of affection, of longing, or perhaps even of regret. Picture this, Yibo writing, "If only I could tell you how much you mean to me, but the world wouldn't understand." That single line, if true, would change everything fans thought they knew about him. But the theories don't stop there. Some insiders whisper that the letter was not for Xiao at all, but for someone from Yibo's past, a figure from his early years, before the fame, before the spotlight. Maybe a childhood friend, a first love, or even someone he lost along the way. The weight of unsent words can sometimes be heavier than the ones shared, and perhaps this letter was his way of keeping that memory alive, without opening old wounds. The mind-blowing part, according to one assistant who briefly glimpsed it, the letter wasn't dated. It could have been written last week, or years ago. The ink had slightly smudged in places, as if written in a rush, or maybe through tears. The paper itself was folded many times, creased and worn, as though it had been opened and reread countless times by Yibo himself, but never allowed to leave his hands. Now imagine this scene in your head. Yibo sitting by his window, the city lights of Beijing glowing beneath him, holding that letter. He looks at his phone, perhaps thinking about sending a message, making a call, or finally handing over the letter. But then he sighs, folds it back into his journal, and turns off the light. Another night passes, another chance slips away. The letter remains unsent. Why? That is the burning question. Some believe it's fear that the truth in the letter would cause more damage than silence ever could. Fear that once the words left his control, the world would never let him take them back. Others say it's protection, not of himself, but of the person it was meant for. Because sometimes, the most powerful act of love is restraint, keeping feelings hidden to protect someone else from the storm that could follow. The emotional weight of this hidden letter has driven fans into a frenzy. On forums and fan groups, thousands of people have written their own versions of what they imagine the letter says. Some pen heart-wrenching confessions of love, others imagine apologies, and some even see it as a letter of farewell, a goodbye to someone he knew he could never truly have. One fan theory stands out above all. It suggests that the letter is not just a personal note, but a symbolic piece of Yibo's inner struggle. That it's less about one person and more about everyone he can't speak freely to. the fans, the industry, the person closest to him, and even himself. That unsent letter becomes the embodiment of everything he keeps hidden behind his stoic expression and reserved personality. The most cinematic rumor comes from a stage crew member who swears they saw Yibo holding the letter backstage at one of his concerts. They describe a surreal moment. Yibo staring at the paper, his lips moving as if silently reading the words to himself. He slipped it into his pocket, walked on stage, and gave a flawless performance, like a man who carried his deepest truth just inches away from him, but invisible to the world. The image is haunting. A superstar adored by millions, carrying a fragile piece of his heart folded in his pocket, smiling and dancing as though nothing was wrong. But here's where it becomes even more intense. Some insiders claim that the letter nearly got out. That once, during a rehearsal, Yibo misplaced his journal. It was found by a junior staff member, who noticed the envelope tucked inside. Instead of snooping, the staffer quickly returned it, but later admitted that the look on Yibo's face when he realized the journal was missing was sheer panic, not the reaction of someone losing just a notebook, but someone who almost lost a secret that could change everything. The silence around this hidden letter only makes it more powerful, because in the end, maybe it doesn't matter who it was written for. What matters is that it exists. A ray, unfiltered glimpse into the guarded heart of a man who is usually unreadable. A reminder that even the brightest stars write letters they can't send, love they can't confess, and truths they can't share. And so the legend of Wang Yibo's hidden letter continues to grow. Fans imagine it locked in a drawer, tucked away in a suitcase, or still folded inside that journal, waiting. Maybe someday it will see the light. Maybe someday it will be read aloud, or maybe it will forever remain his silent companion. But the question lingers like an echo. What if he had sent it? Would it have changed everything? Would it have confirmed the rumors, silenced the doubts, and unveiled the true emotions behind the man we all think we know? Or would it have broken something so fragile it could never be repaired? The unsent letter is more than just paper and ink. It's a story of vulnerability, love, fear, and silence. And in that silence lies the most powerful confession of all. As fans, we may never know the full truth of what Wang Yibo wrote or who it was meant for. But one thing is certain. Sometimes the greatest stories are not the ones told on stage, but the ones hidden away, folded into secret letters, waiting to be discovered. And perhaps that's why we can't stop thinking about it. Because in a world where every word is scrutinized, every gesture dissected, and every rumor amplified, the idea of something real, something raw, being written by Yibo himself feels like the closest thing to touching his true heart. So we ask again, who was it for? The answer may never come, but the mystery will live on forever. The letter wasn't just a piece of paper. It was a window into a hidden part of Wang Yibo's soul. Imagine him sitting alone at a desk, late at night, the city outside alive with neon lights and honking horns, while he drowns in the silence of his own thoughts. In front of him lies a blank sheet of paper, the kind that usually intimidates even the best writers. But this time, Yibo doesn't hesitate. His pen begins to move quickly, like his heart has been waiting for this moment. The room is dim. A single desk lamp flickers, throwing soft shadows across his face. His normally steady hand shakes ever so slightly, betraying the storm of emotions within. He pauses, bites his lip, then keeps writing. There's no script, no rehearsed lines, no stage direction. This is pure, unfiltered Wang Yibo, spilling onto paper everything he cannot say aloud. The very act of writing it is dramatic, his breath catching, his brow furrowing as he searches for words that are both tender and guarded. Somewhere in those sentences lies the truth he's been holding back, the emotions he's kept buried beneath the layers of fame and composure. Every sentence seems to carry weight, like it might be the last thing he ever dares to confess. Now picture this chilling detail. Those close to him say he folded the letter with such precision, as though he were performing a ritual. Not sloppy, not careless. Each crease sharp, every fold exact, as if the paper itself had become a sacred object. He didn't just write something. He sealed away a part of himself. And then he tucked it into the back of his journal, when no one was supposed to find it. But of course, it was found, or at least, glimpsed. The stylist who saw it said the handwriting wasn't like the usual sharp, bold scrawler boy uses when signing autographs. This was smaller, more intimate, the letters curling gently as though he were whispering instead of speaking. That detail shook fans the most, because handwriting doesn't lie. It reveals vulnerability, emotion, and state of mind. Whoever the letter was for, Yibo wasn't just writing to them. He was bearing his soul. Now think of this scene. Yibo on a flight, high above the clouds, headphones in, staring out of the window. In his hands, the folded letter. He opens it, scans the words, then closes it again before the flight attendant passes by. The cabin is full of people, yet in that moment, he is utterly alone. The hidden letter becomes his companion, the one thing that knows what no one else does. Did he almost slip it into the mail during a trip? Did he almost hand it over to someone waiting at an airport? The possibility makes the air electric. There's something heartbreakingly cinematic about the idea that he has read it over and over again but never found the courage to send it. Like a song with no melody, it exists in silence. But silence doesn't mean emptiness, it means power. Because sometimes, the words left unsaid echo louder than the ones spoken. Fans have started piecing together theories about specific lines that could have been in the letter. Imagine him writing, "I wanted to tell you this in person, but I was afraid of what it would change." Or perhaps, "The world would never understand, but in my heart, I can't hide it any longer." Sentences like these don't just hint at emotion, they explode with it. And yet, he chose to keep them folded, hidden, unread. The mind-blowing part is that this wasn't a one-time act. Inside his whisper that Yibo has taken the letter out more than once, carried it in his jacket pocket during a performance, slipped it into his bag while filming abroad. It wasn't forgotten. It was kept alive, like a secret heartbeat only he could feel. That image, Yibo dancing on stage with thousands of fans screaming his name, while the letter sits quietly in his pocket, is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. Why keep it so close if he never intended to send it? Some believe it was his talisman, a reminder of something real in a world where so much is staged and scripted. Others think he was waiting for the right moment, a moment that has either never arrived or perhaps already passed. And then there's the haunting theory. Maybe the letter was written after something ended. Maybe it was a goodbye, one he couldn't bear to deliver. Imagine Yibo scribbling late into the night. "I wish I had told you sooner. I wish I could change the way things ended." Then, realizing those words could never reach their destination, he sealed them away. That idea, that the letter is not just a confession of love, but of loss, is what truly makes this story mind-blowing. The silence surrounding it is deafening. No interviews, no hints, no slip-ups. Yibo has guarded this secret fiercely, and that makes the letter even more powerful. Because the more you hide something, the more the world wants to see it. And yet, the fact that he has chosen not to send it proves one thing. Whatever it contains, it is too explosive, too raw, too precious to risk in the harsh spotlight of fame. Now close your eyes and imagine the ultimate scene. One day, years from now, Yibo finally opening a drawer, pulling out that creased letter, and handing it, quietly, simply, to the person it was meant for. No cameras, no audience, no flashing lights. Just two people, a folded piece of paper, and the weight of years of silence crashing down into a single moment. Would that person cry? Would they smile? Would it change everything? Or would it change nothing at all? That mystery is what keeps us hooked. Because the most powerful stories are not the ones we know the ending to, but the ones that leave us aching to find out what happens next. And that is why Wang Yibo's hidden letter has become more than gossip, more than a rumor. It has become a symbol, the idea that even the brightest stars carry words they cannot say, emotions they cannot share, and truths they cannot release. And in that silence, we see his humanity. So what do you think? Who was the letter written for? Was it a confession, an apology, or a goodbye? The mystery is still unfolding, and the truth might shock us all. And to everyone watching, if this story has left you stunned, Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, drop your thoughts in the comments about who you think the hidden letter was really for, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping revelation. Because trust me, this story is far from over.